Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We are here to bring you the very one little thing which is missing today, which is, sunshine. We saw it was raining this morning, so we thought we start our presentation with a little bit of sunshine. And we're here from Bavaria.
Good morning. My name is Andreas Streb. I'm the COO of Volksbank, Raiffeisenbank, Bayern Mitte in Ingolstadt, a leading community bank in Bavaria.
Yes, and my name is Joe Martin, and I'm a consultant to the bank. And I fell in the rabbit hole, in the Bitcoin rabbit hole, around about 2016, and got deep into it and released the first German-speaking book about Bitcoin in 2018. And recently, like a few weeks ago, I released another book, which is called 2024. And this book is about CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, where I believe this is one of the biggest threats we do have in our time. And some of you may have read 1984 from George Orwell, where Big Brother is watching you. And 2024 is like 40 years later and is a sequel to Orwell's 1994. The instruments they're using, or Orwell used in his novel, he had to invent future technology because he wrote it in 1947 and eventually released it in 49. So he had to think about the technology down the road in 1984. The difference is CBDCs, as being a controlling and surveillance tool, I did not have to invent any new technology because everything central banks needs to control and have surveillance on us is already there. So this is the latest thing what I did, but this is not what we hear today talking about. Today we talk about the Bavarian Bitcoin Bank, Europe's pioneer in community banking and Bitcoin. So when I'm starting with the bank in 2020, I was introduced, and it was right before the pandemic. So I just had the chance to meet the board. I had like 15 management people in front of me, and I could introduce them to Bitcoin. And Andreas was one of them. And Andreas, what did you learn at the time? What was your knowledge about Bitcoin at the time?
I had only a basic understanding. I heard about Bitcoin and even invested a bit to learn more. I believe in understanding a service thoroughly before offering to our clients.
So this was one of the differences I detected between these bankers and other bankers, because they really want to understand what they're offering the clients, what they're offering to the customers that they invest money into. They need to understand what it is, not just selling something to the clients and just make money, but really understand. So I presented before the whole management. And what was the one thing which really got you excited and made you interested in Bitcoin?
The whole concept felt revolutionary. There was a lot of tech jargon I didn't grasp initially. I felt banks should get ahead by understanding and adopting this tech. Banks should be knowledgeable about financial tools that could benefit their customers.
And this is the point again. Banks should know what we're selling to the customers. Not a lot of banks are doing that. So after the decision was made by the management that they want to explore more, I got asked to train a group of people more deeply. And then I had like 12, 14 people. I trained 4 full days on Bitcoin. And if you know Bitcoin a little bit and know how hard it is to understand and grasp Bitcoin, you know that these 4 days for these people were very, very hard. At the end of the day, I mean, they were worn out. However, I did train these people And it was a totally diverse group of people. And I had the feeling at the time, I didn't know anything about banks, I'm not a banker, I had the feeling that from each of the departments there was at least one person. Was that the reason why we did that?
Banks deal with many regulations. When introducing a new product, every department from treasury to marketing must be involved. We wanted a representative from each department to understand Bitcoin, ensuring covered all bases.
Yeah, and this is the thing. You need to understand regulations, at least in Germany and probably all over the world. And there is a regulation that says that you have to provide documentation. And we'll talk about that later a little bit more. And this documentation should not come from one person who just write it up, but it should come from the opinion from each of the departments in the bank. And that's why I trained all this diverse group. Now, after that training, you understood crypto, and you understood what crypto is, and you understood why Bitcoin is different, and what Bitcoin is special things about Bitcoin. What was your key takeaways at that time?
We learned that Bitcoin is decentralized and secure. But a crucial lesson was about private keys. If you don't control your private keys, you don't truly own your Bitcoin.
I mean, you guys in Bitcoin, obviously, you're interested in Bitcoin, and hearing a bank manager stating that not your keys, not your Bitcoin, I mean, this is a true statement. This is like a bold statement.
We are a Bitcoin-only bank.
And that's the other thing. We had a conference back in March this year, and the CEO, a colleague of Andreas, was there in front of the press, and he had these two bold statements. He said, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. And also he said, we only provide Bitcoin-only services because we believe in Bitcoin. And this from a German bank. I mean, you may not come from Germany, you may be from Switzerland, Italy, or any place else in the world, but this for a German bank is like a very, very strong and bold statement. So, Andreas, traditionally, you are managing money for the customer. You are a custodian for the assets of the customers. Now you all of a sudden understand not your keys, not your Bitcoin. You need to talk to the people and tell them not your keys, not your Bitcoin. So you're in a non-custodial way. Didn't that shake you up? Isn't that something you totally got surprised by?
It's a shift. We usually manage funds for clients, but we also deal with tangible assets like gold. If a client buys gold and loses it, it's on them. Same with Bitcoin. Similarly with Bitcoin, we provided it, but they are responsible for their private keys.
Yeah, and this is so important to understand. The way of having a non-custodial system and sell a non-custodial system like Bitcoin is nothing totally new to the banks, because if I'm buying gold and I want to ship it to my home, I have it in my home, and if I lose my gold, if I get a burglar and he takes away my gold, then it's gone. And the same thing with private keys. If I don't have the private keys, somebody else has my Bitcoins, and if I have my private keys, I need to take care of it. And it's very interesting that the bank understands, but also how do you make sure that the customer understands the same thing?
We educate them. We have a 1-hour session called The Big, where we teach customers about private keys and stress that we won't hold these keys for them. We have also introduced products to help them manage their keys securely.
So he's talking about the BIG. BIG is an acronym standing for Bitcoin Information, and then it's the German word Gespräch, which means talk. So the bank here is in a situation where they have not yet the license to consult people on Bitcoin. And there's regulations about that, but they can inform people about Bitcoin. So we designed the BIG, the B-I-G, the Bitcoin Information Talk, and it fits perfectly because we use, of course, the Bitcoin B in the beginning as the letter B. So we inform the customers. And if I say we, I mean we have like a dozen Bitcoin specialists in the bank trained so that they now can talk to the customer and help them to get into this safe and secure environment. And this is the logo we designed for the BIG, the Bitcoin Information Gespräch Talk. So you can see it is like getting into what is Bitcoin. It's in German, unfortunately. What is Bitcoin? How does it work? How can I safe and secure save it? And how do I take care that I don't fall victim to a scammer? This is another big thing which banks need to take care of. Educate their customers so that they don't fall victim to scammers, which are all around, right? And lastly, what are the solutions we as a bank can help you, and what are we offering so that you can control your Bitcoin private keys safely and secure? And one of the things, Andreas, was that you wanted a clear path to success. That was a very critical thing.
Yes.
And right after that, we designed this path, and what happened then?
Right. Now, no other bank had a blueprint we could follow. Now we offer consulting to other banks, sharing our groundwork.
Yeah, and this was critical. This bank started at scratch, zero, nothing. There was no place to go. There was nothing you can go to and say, hey, how did you do that? And what did you take care of? And what are the hurdles? What are the loops you needed to jump through? We started at scratch, totally scratch, and had no blueprint. Now, after we had a blueprint, we developed a blueprint. What happened next?
Precisely. Once we had a clear plan, we began implementing our services. It was a challenge, but now we even have an online shop offering Bitcoin-related products.
Yeah, and this is something, Andreas, did you had an online shop before?
No, we
So the bank had nothing. For me as an external, the bank had nothing. I didn't have an online shop. So they built an online shop, first thing in the morning. And they built a website. And this is the website, of course, it's in German again. But they built also a buy and sell portal so that their customers can buy and sell Bitcoin, which is huge. Because you can use your bank account and you can buy and sell Bitcoin. And it's all integrated in the Bitcoin portal. So they had to talk to people providing Bitcoin because the bank doesn't hold Bitcoin, does it?
No.
So the bank is not allowed right now to hold Bitcoin themselves. Like they only can offer the services. Now, just for me to give you a little secret, the bank is not allowed to hold Bitcoin, but I know a lot of bankers are holding Bitcoin. And they're very happy with it, especially today, when we today will probably hit another time $30,000. The exchange rate is going up today, if you may have seen this morning. Anyway, so we have this website and we have the shop. Now, you may be very excited to see that the bank is offering not only literature, which, by the way, is my book, and also hardware wallets. I mean, I invite you to go to your banker and ask them to sell you a Bitbox hardware wallet. I doubt that there is a lot of bankers doing that. So that's all what we did. And the question now is, Andreas, is that something other banks can benefit from?
It's vital. Any customer could ask any employee about Bitcoin. We want informed answers across the board, ensuring customers feel secure and don't seek another bank.
So you wanted from the beginning, I remember, you said, if we do it right.
Yes.
And if the customer walks in the bank, we definitely want him to talk to somebody who knows something enough about Bitcoin to warn him against other scams and to educate him in Bitcoin and lead him through the process, which eventually proved very, very successful. So, but also, because of that, we needed to train all 700 people. And why was that? I mean, same thing, right? So the 700 people I trained, and we had, what was it, 25 sessions? 25 sessions, and it was all online because we had the shutdown, Corona shutdown. So I trained the 700 people. But the other thing, employees knowing about Bitcoin, educating customers about Bitcoin doesn't mean anything in terms of regulations. What happened with regulations?
It's about offering comprehensive financial services and retaining customers. We have had success with significant Bitcoin sales. We also engaged with German regulators from start, ensuring we were compliant.
Yeah, and I think this was one of the critical things. Andreas was the one who initially said, day one, we need to talk to regulators from day one. And that's what he did. So regulators were not like put in the dark and later on the bank came out and said, hey, we are here. No, they've just engaged very early. They engaged with the association of the banks, and everybody who needs to be in the loop was in the loop from day one. That was very important. And this is, of course, a blueprint now for other banks, because now other banks don't have to call up regulators and say, okay, we have the idea, we want to provide Bitcoin services. No, there are people in regulators in Germany who know what it means, people you can talk to, and they are educated about Bitcoin and Bitcoin services. Now, that means the blueprint is here, and other banks can easily now adopt it, and also in other countries. I mean, you can adopt the information and the ideas and the learning into Switzerland, Italy, and other countries. But in Germany, you're ready to engage with other banks. You can offer services, right?
Absolutely. I invite other banks to reach out. We have the resources and the knowledge to help them to introduce Bitcoin services to their clientele.
And this is very important for you to understand. Go to your banker and tell them the bank in Germany, in Bavaria, is inviting other banks to reach out. And it's not selling. It's like helping the community to get Bitcoin moving on. It's information. It's about all education. And it did work. The good news is it did already work, right?
Yes, we have one other bank.
We have already, let me say, orange-pilled another bank. The most important is we didn't orange-pill the bank only, but also we enabled them to build up a system and offer services to their clientele, like the same what this bank does. And now their specialists and their employees are orange-pilling their customers. And it's brand new. They started on October 4 this month. And that is because October 3 was a bank holiday in Germany, so they started right after this bank holiday. And they had a 1-month period before, which was a friends and family. And they were very successful in the friends and family. They had a lot of BIGs, like this information talks, the BIC. And it was a lot of people from the bank and a lot of people from friends and family who got engaged in that. And after starting, I got news from them that they not only could convince existing customers that Bitcoin is something really, really valuable, but also they generated new accounts, so they have new clients, right? So other banks works, and I think the banks need knowledge. That's very important. Don't you think so?
Yes, I couldn't agree more. Since we started, we have seen a positive response from our customers. They appreciate that we are forward thinking and providing them with the tools and knowledge to navigate to the world of Bitcoin.
Yeah, and this is not only that the customers appreciate it, it's also that they invest in Bitcoin, they hold Bitcoin long term. What the bank doesn't, correct me if I'm wrong,
yes.
You don't want to have day traders.
No. We don't want day traders.
So the bank is about saving Bitcoin, it's about hodling Bitcoin, it's about helping people to have the private keys. How do I deal with my private keys? What is a hardware wallet? Not necessarily day trading Bitcoin in and out like crazy. No, they don't want that. No. But in general, and that's what you always tell me, is we are a bank. We need to take care of the financial interest of our customers, not only one thing, not only opening up an account, but the wide asset, the wide board of financial services. And it's not only a new way in finance, right? It's a little bit more than that.
Exactly. And it's not just about staying relevant. It's our responsibility to provide our customers with safe and informed access to these new financial tools. We have seen firsthand the benefits of embracing Bitcoin, both in customer satisfaction and in our bottom line.
And listen to that. It's our responsibility to provide customers with safe and informed access to these new financial tools. I mean, go to your bank and ask them what is their responsibility beside making more money. So the other thing is that the bank is actively engaging in Bitcoin promotion, and we talk about that a little bit later, what they already did and what they're going to do. But let me come back to another point, Andreas. Now we have the bank, we have the educated employees, and we have the customer, the happy customer, and you have a positive bottom line. I mean, come on, this is fantastic. But didn't regulators being very suspicious?
Initially, there was skepticism. By maintaining ongoing open communication and ensuring we adhere to all the regulators, we have built a trusting relationship with regulators. They see that we are not trying to bypass the system, but we integrate Bitcoin responsible into it.
Yeah, and this is our experience, and we want to share that with you, is if you try to hide it from regulators and you try to cheat the system, it's not going to work. So you need to do an open communication. You need to start day one. You need to call them up and say, listen, we are planning to do that. We're going to do that. Is there anything we can provide you? What do you need? And in the meanwhile, there is at least one person in Deutsche Bundesbank who is really, well, I wouldn't say he's a Bitcoiner yet, but he's open, right? He's open-minded to Bitcoin, and you talk to him like each quarter, at least an hour or something like that. Yes. So he's like, how are you doing? What are you doing? And then we had this great Bitcoin conference in Ingolstadt, which is in the south of Bavaria, just next to Munich. And of course, all the people come, and there was 300 attendees. We had another 500, a group of 500 online visitors. And we had like a whole evening about Bitcoin and everything. A lot of new customers were signed up at the time. And also the Bundesbank had like, what are you doing there? But we could explain, right? So everything was fantastic.
It was fantastic, yes.
And I think this model, and this is the important thing, is not only helping Bitcoin to adopt, but also to legitimize Bitcoin, because now Bitcoin is not something you can buy in a dirty corner of the world like in Asia or something like that. No, it's a German regulated full-force bank, which is, how old the bank is?
125 years.
I mean, come on, 125 years old bank is now adopting Bitcoin, offering services. This is fantastic. Is there anything else the bank is doing?
That's how we want to be pioneers, but also we want the entire industry to recognize and harness the potential of Bitcoin. It's a collective effort, and the more banks that join in, the better it is for everyone. The banks, the customers, and the broader economy.
See, this is the thing. This is not the bank want to make money. Of course they want to make money, sure. I mean, they do have a bottom line they need to meet all year, every year. But they also want to push the industry towards it. They are just being a role model, and they have laid the groundwork. So other banks can just come and sit on top of the groundwork laid. Now, do you think it's a matter of time before other banks will have Bitcoin as a standard offer?
I share that optimism. And as always, we will continue to learn, adapt, and ensure we are at the forefront of this financial evolution.
Now again, I don't want to over-promote the bank, but listen. We will continue, a bank saying, we will continue to learn and adapt and ensure we are at the forefront of this financial evolution. Let that sink. A banker, this is not a Bitcoin, and he is a Bitcoin enthusiast also, right?
No.
But his main job is being a banker. And talking about financial evolution with Bitcoin, I mean, this is huge. Now, Andreas, this was a great journey we had since 2020, and we had the second bank already. It's very rewarding. Can you tell us finally what is your goal with all that?
Absolutely, it's a testament to importance of innovation and adaptability in the banking sector. But beyond that, it's about listening to the needs and interests of our customers. They are curious about Bitcoin, and we have provided a safe and informed platform for them to explore it.
Now then again, it's education. Education is cornerstone.
Yes.
Every employee in the bank understands Bitcoin and can help people to create a safe and secure experience in holding their own keys, buying and selling Bitcoin, and so on. So, is there anything more the bank is doing?
True. And it's not just about internal education. We have also focused on community outreach, hosting seminars and workshops to educate the public about the benefits and risks of Bitcoin. It's about creating an informed community of users.
And that's the reason why we're here today, right? We want to inform you, we want to create an informed community of users. It's one thing to offer a service, but it's another thing to educate everybody, especially with a complex thing like Bitcoin. Andreas, it was a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure to continue working with you. And I would ask you to give him a big hand for supporting Bitcoin. And thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.